What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it is a fun one for you guys as we're going to dive in to what Aaron Rodgers had to say on the Pat McAfee show about his future with the Jets and then also the Jets head coaching search. We got a lot to break down on today's show. But before we do so, help us reach 2,000 subscribers here on the channel. We're at 1,184. If we could maybe hit 1,200 off today's video, that would be awesome. But if you guys want a Jets video every single day in your life and stay up to date around the latest around your New York Jets, I promise you this is the best place to be. News, rumors, any report we have, or even just good old Aaron Rodgers talking about his future, we will break it down for you guys. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. But this is what Aaron Rodgers had to say about his future with the New York Jets, saying, I think everybody understands that it's going to come down to a GM and a coach and myself and whether we all want to do a dance together or if it's not in the cards. And, reading this from Rodgers and just listening to how he is talking is, I think he does want to come back to the Jets, but it's going to come down to what type of coach they hire and what type of GM they hire. And then it's also going to come down to if that coach, if that GM, if they want to rock out with Rodgers for even just one more season. There's a lot of cards left to be played here. But, my biggest gripe with Aaron Rodgers talking about the GM and head coach search is like, listen, Aaron, the Jets have listened to every single one of your demands over the last 2 seasons. Bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, bringing in Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, all of your boys that you wanted, the Jets have said yes to all of them. And with Aaron Rodgers pretty much calling the shots in this organization over the last 2 seasons, it has been a disaster. The Jets last season with Zach Wilson went 7-10. This season with Aaron Rodgers, they were 5-12 with pretty much being healthy the entire year. It's not like you lost Quinn Williams. You lost Sauce Gardner. You lost to Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall. The Jets were relatively fairly healthy. And, I was also thinking about this. Maybe the new GM, maybe the new head coach could view maybe Rodgers as the bridge quarterback. I'll throw this out there. Do you want Rodgers to be the bridge quarterback? Do you want Aaron to be the guy in the young quarterback's ear day to day, week to week, month to month, telling him, giving him advice? And Aaron Rodgers, there's no doubt, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks we have ever seen, if not the most talented quarterback. But I've never thought he was the greatest leader. I never thought he was the greatest locker room guy. I never felt like he was one of those guys where it's like, hey, Rodgers, me and the offensive lineman, we're going out and we're crushing beers after practice today. You down to come? I never took Rodgers as that type of guy, at least maybe later on in his career, in his prime, in his heyday in Green Bay. I'm sure he was, more of that type of guy. But also this quote from Raj, you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Rodgers is talking about his future with the Jets, and he says, listen, I've sat in a hole in the ground in Nowheresville, Oregon, and I've sat in numerous ayahuasca ceremony circles. So I've done a lot of contemplating in my life and gotten some good perspective adjustments over the years. This is nothing that changes my perspective other than it's heartbreaking. And, I'll tell you what, Rodgers, anytime you hear him talk, I just think he's one of a kind because clearly he is a very intelligent man. Like, he knows a lot about, obviously, football, but just life in general. I mean, he went to Cal, for example. That's a very hard school to get into, very smart school over there. But Rodgers is one of a kind. I mean, some of the stuff he says, I'm just like, I'm shocked that he's an NFL quarterback. Like, he doesn't take that typical politician NFL QB route where everything is, like, perfectly said. He'll just say whatever is on his mind, which, I respect here. But I do want to dive quickly into Rodgers' last season here with the Jets because some people will say, oh, Rodgers' stats from this past season, they actually weren't bad at all. He had 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 63% completion percentage, just under 4,000 yards, a 90-plus quarterback rating. But if you really dive into the advanced stats here with Raj, total EPA per play, minus 26. That was 31st in the NFL. EPA per play, minus .04, 27th. Catchable ball percentage, he was actually 18th in the National Football League. And adjusting completion percentage, 73.7, 27th. And then yards per attempt, he's not chucking the ball downfield anymore like he was in his heyday. He was 28th. Is this a quarterback you want back, especially on the contract he is on right now? I'm going to say probably not. But I'll toss this question your guys' way. You guys let me know. Do you want Aaron Rodgers back as QB1 next season? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments section. Now, for me, it's simple. I'm going to say no. It is time to move on. You tried this Aaron Rodgers experiment. Did not work out. Don't try to triple down on it at this point and try to make it work. Get some new blood in at that quarterback position. And speaking of new blood, I want to dive in to 5 quarterbacks that the Jets could take in the first round this season. And we're going to start off with the number 1 quarterback in this year's draft class, and that being Cam Ward. Cam Ward is a very fun prospect. He's got a super live arm, super quick release when he's getting the ball out there. He's actually great at pushing the ball down the field, but he does struggle into the routes at around 19 or from 10 to 19 yards. A lot of his turnovers come in him attacking the middle of the field in that range, but he's a polarizing prospect. I would love him if the Jets could ever swing a trade for him, but you'd probably have to trade up. And same with Shedeur Sanders. You know, maybe the Raiders pass on him at 6, maybe the Giants pass on him at 3, and somehow he's in your lap at pick 7. But even him, I probably view him as like a late first-round guy. I don't think he's a top 15 player in this year's class, but obviously, you know, the quarterback, you know, you kind of have to take him higher than you would want if you want to land that guy. But Shedeur, number 2 for me. And then we're going to go Jaxson Dart here as another player. Dart's an interesting prospect. So let's just take a look here real quickly at Dart's past 2 seasons at Ole Miss. He's been solid. I don't want to say he's been, you know, fantastic, but you guys see the big-time throws and the turnover-worthy play percentage. Definitely taking it an uptick this past season. Completion percentage up, touchdown to interception ratio up. Average depth of target, that is up. So we've seen some growth from Dart that I like, but maybe a round 2 pick is probably where I would slot him in at, but I don't know. I'm not really in love with any of these QB prospects besides Cam Ward, which I would rather have the Jets go that kind of bridge quarterback route, and maybe you find your guy next season. But number 4, talk about polarizing here, Jalen Milroe. He was awful this past season, but if you go look back at his 2023 season, he was pretty damn good. You know, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, over 2,800 yards, and was more, you know, effective throwing the football. But this past season, 16 touchdowns, 11 picks. He just wasn't, you know, playing his best ball, especially at the tail half of the season. And just speaking about not playing your best ball at the tail half of the year, Quinn Ewers, man. Quinn was supposed to be a first-round pick coming into the season, but definitely was not the guy that Texas fans wanted in this year. Still put up some pretty good raw numbers. 31 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 65.8% completion percentage. I don't love his arm talent as much as other people do. I feel like everything is just a lollipop for Quinn. But, hey, those are 5 names to keep your eyes on if the Jets do target a quarterback this season. But I want you guys to predict it for me down below. Who will be the quarterback for the Jets next season? I'm going to call right now. I'm going to go Justin Fields will be under center for the New York Jets. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Who will be the QB for the Jets next season? And make sure you guys subscribe if you want more Jets videos in your life. But we see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. As always, go Jets.